I'm Zach Engler, Chief AI Officer for C4 Technical Services. Welcome to the AI for Executives podcast. Welcome back. Last episode, I gave you a challenge. Set up your phase 1 AI advisor. Pick your role, fill in 4 placeholders, and spend a week using it on your real strategic questions. If you did that, you already know something is a little different. The answers are feeling sharper. They feel like they're more tailored to you. And you're probably starting to ask the question, I want more today. So what if we push this a little bit further? So that's exactly where we're going. In today's video, we're going to get role specific because the AI advisor that a CFO needs is fundamentally different from the one that a CHRO needs. They can both utilize them, but once you see that difference, you'll understand why building the right advisor for your role is where the real leverage is. So here's the concept. In part 1, we established that context transforms AI from a generic tool to a useful advisor. Name, company size, industry, 4 variables, but immediate improvement. And there's a deeper layer to all of this. It's not just about who you are, but it's about how you think. Every C-suite role has a distinct decision-making pattern. A CFO is trained to model scenarios, stress test assumptions, quantify risk. A CHRO is thinking about culture, retention, organizational dynamics, things that are hard to quantify but deeply consequential. A CMO, or Chief Marketing Officer, is reading signals in customer behavior and competitive positioning. And a CIO is evaluating architecture trade-offs against technology and the roadmap. These aren't just like different jobs, they're fundamentally different cognitive modes. And an AI advisor that is tuned to one mode is not automatically useful in another. So when your AI knows your role and your cognitive framework, not just the name of your industry, it shifts how it structures every response. It leads with information you actually need, and it skips all the noise from the training data that's irrelevant to how you make decisions. It asks the clarifying questions that are relevant to your function, not the generic business questions. So that's the key unlock here. Role specificity isn't about customization for its own sake. It's about making every AI interaction efficient and actionable for the way that you actually work. So let me show you what that looks like across the C-suite. So we're going to go back to the CEO strategy role and virtual CEO advisor. This advisor is built for competitive intelligence and scenario planning. It knows you're operating at the intersection of market positioning, resource allocation, and long-term vision. And when you ask it a question, it presents multiple strategic scenarios with trade-offs. It references your competitive landscape, and it pushes back on assumptions that need validation. It keeps every answer at the strategic level because tactical detail is not your job. So, quick demo question. What's your biggest strategic risk heading into Q3? Without role calibration, you'll get a generic risk taxonomy, which is okay. But with that specificity, you get a response that maps to your actual industry dynamics, your company's position in that industry, and the specific trade-offs that will matter at your scale. For the CFO advisor, it's built for more financial modeling, variance analysis, and investment evaluation. Its key variables are revenue scale and financial complexity. It understands the difference between financial questions a $15 million company asks and ones a $500 million company asks. When you're doing board prep, it helps you anticipate the questions your lead investors will ask about variance. When you're evaluating a potential acquisition, it builds out the ROI framework. When a market shock hits, it helps you model the downside scenarios you need to brief your CEO next day. The COO advisor is process-oriented. It's tuned to supply chain, operational efficiency, and resource allocation. Its key variables are operational complexity and industry-specific constraints. It thinks in terms of throughput, bottlenecks, and performance metrics. If you asked the COO agent about a workflow problem, it won't give you just theory. It'll give you a structured analysis of where the friction is, what the fix will cost, and the trade-offs against operational continuity. Up next, CHRO advisor is built for the intersection of people and strategy. It's for talent management, culture development, organizational effectiveness, and its key variables are employee count and geographic scope, because a 200-person company and a 20,000-person company have fundamentally different people dynamics. Ask it about retention in a competitive talent market, and it gives you an analysis calibrated to your industry's talent landscape, not just a generic HR checklist. The CMO is an advisor tuned for customer intelligence, competitive positioning, and its variables are target market, product type, and brand positioning. It thinks in terms of customer behavior, campaign performance, and competitive differentiation. Ask it to help you frame your Q3 campaign strategy, and it starts from your actual market position, not just a generic marketing playbook. And then for the CIO advisor, this one is built for technology strategy and digital transformation. Its key variables are technology maturity, IT budget, and industry compliance requirements. So it helps you evaluate architecture decisions, navigate vendor selection, and translate that technical strategy into business language for the rest of the C-suite. I'll caveat all of this with the general understanding that these virtual advisors are by no means the source of authority. At the end of the day, you're the decider. This is your virtual C-suite to help inform your decisions, not make them for you. You are the one who's ultimately on the hook for what happens in your business. These virtual advisors are purely meant to be there as that, advisors. 6 roles, 6 distinct cognitive frameworks, 1 methodology. That architecture of the virtual C-suite can help bring everything together so that you can tailor your messaging to your audience when appropriate and get those other perspectives and other angles as well. So then here's what happens when your whole leadership team has access to a tool like this. Think about what type of consistency that might drive. We'll come back to that in a minute, but first, let me show you what phase 2 of your virtual C-suite build-out looks like. All right, so in last week's session, we went through and did the personalized system prompt for the virtual CEO. We shared that, built that. Hopefully you tested it out. If you didn't notice, there's some test questions you can ask to validate that it's calibrated appropriately. This week, we're going to look at phase 2, the personalization of making it company specific. So in this one, we're going to actually upload some documents that this agent will now be able to utilize. This could be things like your current strategic plan, your latest board presentation, or a competitive analysis. For today's example, we're going to upload a SharePoint site and a PDF document that we use regularly here at C4. We're also going to add this enhanced system prompt to the existing one we had. So you can copy this system prompt in the document word for word, bring it over to your Microsoft Copilot. And if you really want to get creative, you can fill out this bracketed information in yourself, or you can have AI do it for you. So take that prompt, paste it into Copilot and say, fill in the placeholders with my company info. Then you'll get a nice completed prompt with all of your information baked into the answer so you don't have to manually type. Again, it may not seem like a big deal, but you're shaving off seconds to increase your work velocity here. Now, up next, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your Microsoft Copilot. You're going to click on your CEO agent. You're going to click edit, and your CEO agent's system prompt is going to pop up. You're going to scroll down to the bottom, and you're going to paste in that company context segment that now has your tailored information to it. So what are we dropping in? We're referencing the C4 Professional Services internal SharePoint site, which is what our team uses to inform our decision-making on different clients. And we're going to drop in this Building an AI-First Organization PDF document that talks all about a training that we roll out called Building an AI-First Organization. This training is a 4-module, 4-hour training that walks companies through not only how to roll out AI for their business, but how to effectively track the ROI and governance that goes into rolling out AI for their organization. We then dropped in the rest of the prompt of making sure that the agent grounds recommendations in C4 Technical Services actual strategic position capabilities, references specific goals and initiatives, and pulls up the information we need in order to be effective. Further down the screen, you're going to see a place where you can start dropping in these personalized documents. If you want to hook it up to a SharePoint site, click on SharePoint and select the appropriate dropdown. If you want to upload a PDF, you can choose this Upload from Device button. And we've selected this Building an AI-First Organization PDF. This includes all the information you need to know to get started with building an AI-first organization. Once you've done all of that, your agent is now prepped with the information it needs to custom tailor answers to specific questions around those documents and that information. Most AI platforms let you upload documents directly into your workspace, and once uploaded, that AI can reference those so that you're not just getting industry calibrated advice anymore. You're now going to get custom tailored advice grounded in your actual numbers, your actual strategy, and your actual competitive position. Now, I could have uploaded a spreadsheet, for example, with quarterly performance, but then every quarter I have to come back and change that spreadsheet out. So the better approach and the more efficient approach is to actually upload a SharePoint site with that information so that as it gets updated in real time, so too does the agent. All right, so now that we've uploaded that information, we're gonna update our agent. So click the update button. It'll spin for a little bit and get everything ready to roll for you. And then you'll be able to go to that agent and try it out to see what the difference is. So now that we've uploaded the documentation, we can ask questions of our agent and get specific answers. The question I asked the agent was, help me craft a strategic message for a CEO I'm trying to win over and showcase the benefits of building an AI-first organization. Training, use the document in your knowledge to inform your advisement. And now you can see here, I got a personalized message grounded in your building an AI-first organization training for C4 professional services, internal positioning. Here's a CEO level strategic message you can use or adapt to win over skeptical CEOs. I'll give you a polished message, the strategic logic behind it, scenario framing you can choose from depending on the CEO's posture. And then as we go through this answer, you can see, here's the message. It gave me an email subject and a breakdown of all the things that are relevant for this training. It then said why this message works and its thinking and logic behind that. It cites its answers, so you can see that it's pulling from the documents within the knowledge. And then it gives me a step-by-step breakdown of a couple different scenarios of a CEO that might be risk-focused, a growth-oriented CEO, a skeptical one, right? And then 4 key assumptions to validate before I deliver it. I can walk through this stuff quickly, and then an optional closing statement. Okay, so without documents, you get a framework for thinking about whatever challenge you might be faced with, but with the documents, you get a response that points directly to that specific line item. The AI flags the information in that data so that you can then inform your decisions and know that it's built on an actual document relevant to the work that you're doing. That's the difference between an advisor who knows your industry and an advisor who knows what your actual quarterly reports look like, customer base, whatever it may be. Phase 2 takes roughly a week to set up properly and calibrate, not because it's complicated, but because gathering and preparing the right documents can take a little discipline. The toolkit walks you through exactly which documents to pull for each role and how to prepare them without exposing anything confidential. The last piece of why we're showcasing this in Microsoft Copilot is because then all of that information lives in your tenant. It protects your data. A lot of that is already in your Microsoft 365 account, and you can ensure that that security and confidentiality is maintained. So let me close with a little bit bigger picture. Individual executive AI advisors are valuable, and an AI literate team is a competitive advantage. And here's why. Right now, there's a gap forming in corporate decision-making. On one side, leadership teams have a systematic AI capability built into how they think and work. On the other side, leadership teams are still using AI as a peripheral tool. They're drafting emails and summarizing documents, running searches, and getting generic answers. The gap between those two groups is getting bigger and bigger by the day because AI is an exponential technology, and it's going to get more powerful as the next years come by. When your entire C-suite has role-specific AI advisors that understand the company, something else starts to happen. Your strategic conversations start to get better. Your CFO and your CMO are stress testing assumptions with the same analytical frameworks. Your COO and your CHRO are aligning headcount decisions to operational capacity in real time. And your CEO is walking into board meetings with scenario analysis that used to take many days to produce, now in a matter of minutes. This alignment creates what we call a consistent analytical layer across your leadership team. It doesn't replace your judgment. It just means that everyone's judgment is better informed and better calibrated across the different thinking styles that we talked about. And now we have a shared sense of reality that each player can come to the table with. This starts to compound over time. Phase 1 delivers immediate value. Phase 2 adds company-specific depth. Phase 3, which is where you're going to get real-time data integration and automated strategic workflows, is where early movers start to pull away from the competitors in terms of decision-making speed and quality. The organizations building this capability now are not doing it because AI is a trend. It's proven. They're doing it because decision-making speed and quality are competitive weapons, and they're arming their leadership teams accordingly. Are you ready for that? Do you want to get ready for that? So here's where we go from here. Step 1, if you haven't done part 1's challenge yet, Go do it today. It takes 5 minutes. Plug in the bracketed information, pick one role, and try it out for the next week. The C4 Executive AI Toolkit has everything you need broken down by function. Step 2, once you're using your Phase 1 advisor daily, start gathering your Phase 2 documents, your board deck, your recent financial statements, your strategic plan, depending on your role. Pull them this week so that while they're fresh. Step 3, think about who else in your leadership team should be building their own advisor. Because the enterprise value I described isn't theoretical. It's built one executive at a time, and it compounds when the whole team starts using it together. The toolkit is at c4techservices.com. Every role is there: CEO, CFO, COO, CHRO, CMO, and CIO. Phase 1 prompts, Phase 2 document guidance, and Phase 3 advanced workflows are at your fingertips in that walkthrough. Everything you need to go from zero to functional virtual C-suite. I've been using this for almost a year, and the insights that it helps me generate are absolutely invaluable. I would love to hear what you think. So if you get a chance, drop some comments in the YouTube channel. Would love to hear your thoughts. I'm Zach Engler, Chief AI Officer for C4 Technical Services. Thank you so much for watching this show. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, and see if you can get your virtual C-suite ready to take action.